Hello, it's Jesse here. We're going to work on one of our new projects here. This is the Norton Mk3 we just got acquired. And anyway, we're going to work on getting this thing on the wheels so we can move it around the shop. We're not going to really focus on rebuilding this thing right away, but this segment here is pretty much just going to be getting this thing into a rolling chassis. So putting front wheels on, putting the rear wheel on, and so on. And we're going to go over this stuff of what you got to do to build the rear wheel on a Norton. And Mark III in particular, because Norton Mark III rear wheel is different than a Norton Mark II rear wheel and anything earlier. So, and yeah, and so on. All right, here we are. Here's the Norton Mark III rear wheel. It's Mark III wheel because it has disc only, and this hub unit here is completely different than the Mark II and earlier bikes. The spokes look all nice and tight. There's a little bit of some cleanup that can probably happen to the rim. But if you see here that we have one side has short spokes and the other side has long spokes. So, like, because some bikes,
because it's a conical.
Because it's a conical hub and everything. So this wheel, when we got this bike together, parts stuff, it already had the new bearings in the rim here, and other parts to go along with this rear wheel are like the sprocket here, the speedometer drive, and all the components for the axle to hold this onto the wheel. Dampener piece here, and then the plate, and then a nut here that tightens up all this stuff to the hub here. I'm trying to say, and then the dampener pieces. So anyway, this is all 75 and later bikes. And so anyways, we're going to get started with putting it on. We also have a special tool we're going to be using over here. Just talk about that real quick. It does the tightening of this nut here. And then the other side of this tool does the caliper pistons, tightens them up. And then for 72, 73 Nortons,
74.
And 74 Nortons and older, this part of the tool is for
the brake drum.
Yeah, the brake drum.
This piece right here.
Yeah, so this
it unscrews this on a 74 and earlier to hold the bearing in place. But this is all one piece, so it don't come apart.
On the 75,
so,
because
yeah. The reason that the slots are still here is because that drives the speedometer.
Right.
So
okay. So we're going to work on putting this together. So first off, we put in the plate here. It only goes in one way. And then we put in the dampener piece here, which this is all designed to make it for a nice smooth shifting and nice ride. So let me go ahead and run that in. The next part's going to be difficult because we gotta get these rubber pieces to fit into these holes here. We got a smaller one and we got a bigger one. So anyway, kind of when we get started here, well, it's going to get harder as we go because we run out of room. Right.
You don't have to kill it. You just have to get it tight.
Okay, so then our rubber pieces. Let's see how this goes. So they got kind of like a curve to them a little bit. So we kind of match that to our curve we have in here. I think that's... Now the small ones go on this side.
I think what I want to do is back this back up. I want to leave that loose till we're done.
So we can flex a little bit.
Yeah, so the plate moves.
Yeah.
I'll tighten it up later.
All right, curved.
The big one's going first.
Oh, so I already put a couple small ones in, but
Well, because the big ones are harder. So we're going to put all the bigger ones in first. That's what I like to do anyway. Okay. Now, what I do then is I take this and I push like that.
To open it up?
Yeah, open it up. It's going to be hard. You got to squeeze them in there, and trust me, it's difficult.
Right. That one's kind of in there.
Yeah, it's got to go in further than that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost like the dampener on the freaking transmission ones in the Triumphs. Those are a pain in the butt too. All right, well, yeah, we're getting it, I guess. Just wow.
Okay, here we go. Now push that thing in there. No, that old one, the first one. There, you got it. Okay. Now,
All right, let's see if we can get this one in. Can I get them all started? I mean, just work them from there, or what?
well, we can. The last one in's hardest. Got it?
Yeah. So I got one left here. Just see if we can get it started, and then.
The problem with that is I can't get this in no more. That one you got to wrench in.
There we go. We got it in. All right, so we're gonna finish up pushing these in the rest of the way here. So yeah, probably could have used some, I don't know, some sauce maybe to help them in, but I don't know if that would helped any anyway. They weren't really too bad going in.
As long as we get it below.
Yep, this one. And then this guy.
Get him down a little more.
I don't know how else you would have got these in without having to smack it like that.
I don't know.
Or pry on it.
That's how I do it.
We were careful, that's for sure. All right, well, that's pretty much this part.
Fortunately, now all we got to do is tighten this up now.
Yeah, so there isn't really a torque spec for this, using this special tool, so.
Gotta have it tight.
Tight.
You don't want to break the pins off.
Right. And you don't need to kill it.
You
or
got to
anything.
hold this in too.
Otherwise, you had to come off and mar up the special holes that are in it.
There we go.
Then you'll have a heck of a time getting it apart again someday.
Now what happens is you got a spacer here that sits on the bearing center. Then you got to line up those. There it is. And, then a big washer goes on top of here.
Then our axle piece.
And the stub axle goes in from the back. Goes in there. I'm just going to put this on here. Then these slots line up with these slots.
So yeah, these slots here line up with the
And
slots of the
this
sprocket.
goes down inside of here. Like that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go all the way. It goes almost. Because it just rides on that.
Just rides on that.
This axle
piece.
bumps into the bearing, and that's as far as it'll go. And then, so there's always a gap around here. Not very much, probably 1/16 of an inch.
All right. So
But that's so that you can take the wheel off, and this stays on the bike.
oh, okay. Well, that's kind of like the old
This
Harleys
quick
that way.
detachable. That's the whole purpose of this. Is that this here can just spin along. The chain stays on. So now
Nice.
we
So you
so
don't
now
take
we
it all
can
apart
put,
to. You don't have to take it all apart to.
yeah, and this all stays in here for changing tires and stuff. You just don't have to take none of this apart.
It's pretty sweet, really.
So
Too bad this didn't wasn't only lived on. This was the first and last year, pretty much, for this.
okay.
So anyway, we're ready to go to the bike now, the frame and stuff. So. All right, so we're gonna install the sprocket to the swing arm here. It's kind of the first
The
step.
flats line up with the axle. And then the big washer.
It's got a two-piece axle. I'll show you that in a minute here. That's how this all works.
I gotta get
So yeah, this two-piece axle thing, it slides through this side into the wheel and then threads into that sub axle right there. So
Of course, we're not going to adjust our axle plates because we don't have chain on it.
right. Yeah.
Right now, the prime concern is just to move the bike around, park it.
Yeah, because moving the parts around is a little bit hectic because we don't want them to get all damaged and stuff. So
Yeah. Okay, for right now, we should be able to.
I have to go up a little bit in the lift, but
Yeah.
that's probably high enough.
Just a minute here. Yeah.
There you go. Then
This slides into that.
yeah, that slot goes into that squared off bolt head there.
Yep. And this slides down into there. Gotta get this in too. Once this is all put in place. Okay, where's the axle at? Get that slid up there a ways. I don't know, is this same size? No, of course not.
That's alright, we don't need to have it tight anyway. Just run it in until
Well, we gotta snug it up so it don't move around.
Oh, yeah, but... Alright, well, that's kind of how it goes together pretty much so far.
We're going to put the front wheel and the kickstand on.
Yeah, we're going to move on to that next. Front wheel and the kickstand. So this rolling chassis can kind of like lay around. And then shocks, we got to hook the shocks up.
Yeah, I got to put shocks on. I got them.
Right.
That's what this is. This is shock bolt.
And this little red thing here, that's taking the place of the motor right now, keeps this cradle from rocking and stuff around with the swing arm. So that's kind of a nice thing. You can buy these brand new, and then I'm not sure where to get them at, but you can find them out there. Here we are. We're popping the shocks on now to help stabilize the rear swing arm. So the top shock goes into this little perch area here. There's a bolt that comes in from the back, or it's actually like a stud, so it comes in from here and goes through, and there's a nut on the inside. And then this is where that big round piece goes, holds the seat down. And we're going through like a little bucket here of the bolts and nuts and stuff that came with the bike, so we're gonna have to find the right item.
There's I think there's supposed to be a little spacer back here for a thick washer. I know there's a thick one that goes on the outside, this one. But okay. This is way too much bolt sticking out here.
Yeah, because there's a gap back there.
Yeah. It's supposed to be.
So, not sure. That piece might be missing or something.
No, I think we need two of these.
Oh, just for 2 flat washers?
Oh, one on each side. There they are. There we go. And another nut. And they might be self-lockers, but for right now, I'm just more concerned with just getting a nut on them.
Alright, that's one side, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, on the other side. Alright, we're putting the other shock in and installing the top here, right here. And then that stud's already in. And then we'll put a little nut on the side, back side here.
And a washer. Okay. Now we gotta get that. We might be able to loosen this up and slide it back. We forgot to put the bolt in.
Yeah, this bolt's supposed to come through the back side here, and kind of forgot to put it in, but this is just kind of like a rolling chassis mock-up thing to where we can move it around. So I mean, we're not like finished restoring it right now. So I mean, we'll come back and probably either fix it or
one shock.
yeah, probably hold it together with one shock probably. But anyway, we'll probably pop a bolt through here, and do you want to take this apart here?
Yeah, as soon as I find the wrench.
Okay.
I had to dig into the paint.
Alright, so we're putting the bolt in. Installed a washer there to substitute for the chain guard that we're not going to put on right now. And then we'll come back to this later down the road when we're working on this again. But this quick detach rear wheel is kind of sweet, so we're going to go over it, putting it back in again here.
Okay, here we go. Now that we got all the parts.
Alright, so we line the sprocket pieces into the hub.
There it is.
So
Now I gotta negotiate this. And
yeah, so the slot goes into that head on that bolt there, like we showed her a little bit ago.
sometimes this is kind of tight because, you know, because it is. There it goes. Now I got to put this in there too.
There we go. There we go. Pretty slick. Yeah, so like normally when we take this out, pull this out, and you can actually like pull back on this piece where the caliper sits, it'll disengage the wheel from that sprocket over there. So.
Yep.
Well, there we go. If it wasn't right, it wouldn't move very easily like that. So, cool. Onto the front wheel. Alright, so here's the front wheel for a Norton Mk3. It's different than a Mark II or 74 and older because when they switch the side of the disc in 75.
Yeah. 74 and earlier, it's over here. 75, it's over here. So it spins the opposite direction.
So it's on the left. That's why he's saying it's on the left on the bike like that in 75. But in 74, it's on the right. So with that being said, if you try to use a 73 or 74 hub on a 75, it threads in here.
There's a piece that threads in with them two little holes that you tighten up that holds bearing in place.
Right. We used to have their tool on.
This one has a snap ring that holds the bearing in. And so it can't come unthreaded.
Right.
So that makes
Otherwise,
this makes this a 75 only.
Because if you used it on a 74 and older or on a 75, it would come unthreaded. Right?
Yep.
So, yeah. All right, now we're going to pop it on the forks here. So when they switched sides, they pretty much just turned one of the sliders around and moved it to the front.
Yep, they just put this one over here and this one over here. We should lower this here. Hold on to that.
Yeah, okay.
Like that. Roll it in. More? Oh, I think we can deal with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Roll it out a little. I gotta put this on.
Okay.
Oh. This has got to go in first.
That's
This piece rubs onto the bearing.
So it's a bearing protector and spacer all at the same time.
All at the same time. This one's already had one in it over here. And this side takes the big side. So I got to go up just a little bit. Oh, that fits on there.
It was just being obstinate, huh?
Yeah.
That's the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. There you got it.
Okay.
Alright, then we'll put the nut on.
That's over here. And that's a recessed part goes in.
Yeah, because it actually has a built-in recessed area on that slider for it.
And we don't have to get it completely tight either.
All right.
And we're not going to tighten this side at all because it's not like we're going to go riding it.
The cap and stuff.
Now what I want to do is bring this ahead. I want to put the...
Oh yeah, we're going to put the kickstand on it so it can stand on its own.
Yeah.
All right. All right, the kickstand, it's got special parts, and it has to be put together particularly, otherwise it will not work right. So, special bolt, it has a prominent end here that actually tightens up to the frame.
This bushing slides onto the bolt, and the bushing has got to be proud of this kickstand right here.
Like a gap.
Because that bushing being proud tightens up firmly against this on the bottom side. So then the kickstand pivots on the bushing and stays loose. So
right.
There's a slot underneath. There's a hook
Underneath the cradle piece
underneath here. There's a hole. I gotta find it. I gotta find it. Gotta get my damn head down there. There it is. Okay. It just made me get my head down there. And then that's got to get like that. And then we're going to pull this out like that. Now, I prefer to put a washer on there. But you can see how this will just, it pivot, yeah, but this will be tight and it'll move like that, but it's pivoting on that bushing and it'll never fall off if you got it good and tight.
Never cause a problem.
Never cause a problem. Well, I mean, they can come loose. They can come loose. But there's a special nut. That's not an eye lock.
Well, no, it's an actual lock nut, but it's, yeah, like I said, not lock. What ends up happening is it's a crimped one, so it's a little bit out of round, so it tightens up. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and just Loctite it, because we probably won't mess with this kickstand again, possibly when we go to restore this bike down the road. Keep that Loctite on there and keep it nice and tight. It won't come loose or waller or anything to the damage things.
Plus it'll stay tight. See, it's just a little bit of loose, but that's the way it's going to be.
There we go.
I want to get this on here. Hold that right there, will you?
Yeah.
Got it?
Yep.
There we go. And it's nice and tight.
All right.
Once that Loctite dries up, see, yeah, it looks loose and everything, but that's how they are.
Let's go ahead and leave it out. And
Yep, it'll
see
work.
this thing stand on its own. So here's pretty much the rolling chassis of the Norton Mk3.
There it is.
Here we go.
Now I can roll it around.
Yeah, really, that was kind of the whole goal here. So anyway, we kind of had some questions from people asking about the rear isoelastic, how to replace those and stuff. Well, this is the only Norton we have that's pretty much that's torn apart this far to where we can actually see everything. So I think we'll probably try to talk about that here in a minute or two. So anyway, we're gonna put the handlebars on.
A handlebar, not the handlebar.
Oh, I see what you're saying. We're gonna put something on here that we're not gonna use. Layman's terms there. This is the fork lock, of course, and then this little tab thing covers up that keyhole to keep crap from getting in there. It's kind of neat.
I think we need a new one that's shrunk.
Oh yeah, it doesn't stay. So this neat thing is not neat no more.
These need painted too.
Oh yeah, they're supposed to be silver. Yeah. They're all like
rusty.
Brown.
They
Rusty.
sandblasted them and then didn't paint them.
Okay.
So we'll take care of that. But at least I'll be able to. These are your dented ones.
Yeah, that's the ones.
You
off the
recognize
Tiger.
them?
Yeah, they're off the Tiger. So these are the gauges that came with this bike, I believe. No, they're not.
No, they're not. I just put them on there to fill the space.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they were because of
the. One of the gauges had a cracked lens. They're up there.
Oh, okay. Anyway, for now.
For now, they're just sitting here.
Yep. Yeah, because I don't think they don't not supposed to look like that, are they?
No.
Yeah, they look a little different.
Well, they're supposed to have the squiggly. The ones that came with this bike are Smith's gauges. These are Vaglas. Some bikes came out with Vaglas, and some came out with Smiths. I'll get to Smiths here in a minute.
Yeah, why not? Seems how we're looking at these, we're talking about it, we might as well look at it. There, now we have something to hold on to when we move it around.
Now I can move it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, made in France or something here. I see where it says. So, anyways, they're nice gauges though. The ones that are on here. So the ones that are supposed to be on the Mk3 are this one.
Here's what's supposed to be on it.
So yeah, it's the same. It's got the same little symbol here, and it's a lot different looking, but and it says Smith's there.
The gauge is, or the needle is a lot thinner than these are,
So some came with this one, you said?
Yep.
Mk3s and everything?
Yep. And Mark IIs.
Yeah, because I think my 74 has these gauges.
Yep. Except it don't have the squiggly on it.
Yeah. Huh, anyway, that's interesting. Okay, so right now that red thing, like triangle thing I was talking about, is really keeping that from getting all crazy.
Yeah.
So it's actually really working.
If we took that out, this would turn way up.
Right.
So.
Okay, so anyways, like I was saying, I've had some questions about how to remove the rear isoelastic mounts back here because while leaving the
changing it with the motor and tranny in it.
while it's installed. Yeah.
Well, it's very involved. Basically, it can be done, and it can be done fairly easy, but it takes some disassembly. You got to take off the primaries, and if you're going to change the back ones, most likely you're going to change the front ones. So the front one has to come out. The motor stays in. You put I put like a small jack under here, and I stabilize this, and I get like a tall deal here, and I put a ratchet strap on here, and I hold the frame up, because what has to happen is you got to take the fender, you got to break the fender loose and get it down on the tire, get it away from here, because what you got to do is you got to free this all up to where you can pull this bolt out, and then you want to keep this frame up high. And when the jack's down here, you can lower this down, and the goal is to drop with the motor, with the front motor mount out. You can slide then after you pull this bolt out, you can slide the motor forward, and you can drop the jack down, and this will drop right down here, and you pull it right out, put a new one in, jack it back up, put the bolt back in, then you put your front mount back in and hook it all up, put your fender back on, and of course then you got to put your primary all back together and hook all your fender and taillight back up.
But that's a lot better than taking the whole bike apart.
Well, yeah, that's better than taking the motor out and the transmission cradle all out, and it's like...
Unfortunately, we don't have to do that to this bike because these have been
It's already
replaced.
got new ones in it.
Yeah, it's got new ones in it, and it'd be nice to actually video record that sometime, but
We got to put the new one in the front yet. It's empty.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that when we go forward on this bike, so pay attention to videos coming up on this bike. We're kind of excited on working on this one, so they'll relatively be soon, hopefully. But, yeah, we don't really have a...
We got a couple other ones in it's ahead of it.
Yeah, but anyway, other Nortons that we have, we don't really have a good example to be able to try that out and actually video record the whole process, which would be nice, but as time goes by, maybe we'll come to that point sometime and be able to do that, but I believe he pretty much explained it pretty well on how to do that. But anyway, this kind of ends this segment here on getting this bike on a rolling chassis, so hope you enjoyed everything, and anyway, got any questions or whatever, don't hesitate to ask and stuff, and we'll see you again soon.